Sour Patch Kids.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
No, he finished. All right, y'all, we're back, and
Sounds working.
well, what? First of all, we're back with another episode of Let's Talk Fish, as a sequel to last week, and it's working. I can hear it from here. Tyler's over there grinning like a possum eating briars, and I know when Tyler's grinning, that means it's working. Because last week he looked like a
Nobody
deer in
said
headlights.
anything, commented about it not working, so I'm going to say it is working.
Yeah, they'll definitely let us know if it's not working. So we're back. We've got a special episode tonight because we've got a guest who. Actually, we were on the phone the other day, and I was trying to. I've been thinking about getting Brandon down the show. It kept slipping my mind that he's now moved to North Carolina.
Yep.
But we have fellow Elite Series pro, Mr. Brandon Card, in the house, who drove an hour and a half to be here. And I threatened Tyler with his life that if the sound didn't work, Brandon, I was going to hold him down and let Brandon.
Jeff's even here too for backup.
Yeah, Jeff sees. Nobody sees Jeff, but he's standing. Oh, there he went. Actually,
I just saw him walk out there.
but yeah, Brandon, glad to have you, man.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here. I appreciate y'all asking me to come down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are you liking the transition to North Carolina?
Well, I mean, I like it, but still Tennessee's home. So I mean,
No, not anymore.
it's kind of like
Not
it's
anymore.
kind of like if y'all moved to Tennessee, y'all would love it, but you're like, man, North Carolina's home. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
No, I couldn't live in East Tennessee.
I don't know, man. Tennessee will spoil you though. Like East Tennessee, there's so many lakes within an hour's drive of Knoxville,
Yeah,
and a lot of them are really good fishing.
but go ahead.
To his point, so everybody always says, why does North Carolina kick out so many good professional anglers, right? Or so many just high-level anglers. East Tennessee is very comparable to me
That
in
is
that
very
aspect.
true.
And it's because of what he just said. It's a diversity of the lakes
Yeah.
that they have at their fingertips. When you go to Chick, and then you shoot over to Norris, and then you go down to Loudon and Tellico, and then you run over to Watts. You've got everything you want to
You
fish
got big
right there.
spots, big smallmouth, big largemouth.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got a
All
little bit of
three.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of what y'all have here, except not as much smallmouth, obviously. But,
And no grass.
yeah,
Which we have smallmouth less than an hour drive from here. Lake James.
Yeah,
and
James.
Well,
a
now they're
couple
all
lakes.
mean mouse.
Possibly. They still act like smallmouth.
That's true. That's true. Speaking of which, I got to do a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, big shout out to English Choice Marine, our presenting sponsor of the show. 4 years running now? Is it 4 years running?
Yeah, 4 years.
It's 125 plus shows, but English Choice always been a major supporter of the show. We appreciate that. Y'all know where their locations are. If you don't, one's down there near where Brandon lives, Lexington, North Carolina. You got Spindale, North Carolina. You got Martinsville, Virginia. So if you're in the market for a new boat, particularly a Ranger, go check them out. Good people, good service, and I promise you they'll hook you up. So, also on that note, we have these brand new.
Here, you hold one side and I'll hold the
Oh,
other.
perfect.
There we go.
It's like we're holding up a big check, but it's not.
I know, like a team
yeah.
tournament at
So-
Moss Lake.
Custom weigh-in bags. Oh yeah, on the back, Thrift. You want to turn around?
Spin it around.
Spin it around. On the back, they're custom weigh-in bags. English Choice now has that. We're
Mercury
actually going
logo.
to be giving away quite a few of these on the show. Not tonight because we've got a pretty awesome giveaway. Compliments of Mr. Brandon Carter and one of his sponsors. Brandon, you want to tell them what the giveaway is?
Yeah, we got a Yozuri prize pack here. Just kind of several of my favorite baits. We got the large and small version of the 3DB pencil. My favorite walking bait. So we got the 120, the 100.
So you like not to interrupt you, but you like the smaller one?
Yeah, well, I mean the larger one when the wind's blowing or if I'm fishing in open water.
Sure.
But the small one, the reason I like that small one so well is that it casts so well. Like it's always tail first, kind of like those big paw bars used to be. Everybody was throwing
It
Craig
doesn't
Powers.
plane off and stuff.
Exactly.
So it casts straight.
Yeah, so
that's
like
good.
those P70s and stuff, like it's pinpoint cast.
The weight distribution.
That's
is just,
what you
is
get
on
with
point.
the 100 pencil. And then I got a couple of my favorite jerk baits. It's the 3DB jerk bait 110. We got it in the deep version and the normal version. We got a couple of these new hardcore cranks, square bill and the medium runner, which I'm starting to throw these all the time. I love that square bill. And then you definitely have to bring in the Rattling Bob, my favorite lipless crankbait of all time. Catches them everywhere you go. So yeah, we just kind of got you covered from top to bottom on the Yozuri giveaway tonight.
Yeah, those are goodies, and you did a really good job selecting out a variety that they could probably use 12 months out of the year, truth be told.
I mean,
Yeah.
you got topwater, you got jerk baits, you got the traps for pre-spawn crankbaits. So
And this giveaway is probably valued at what, 90, 100 bucks? Close
Yeah,
to it?
I would
least
say
that.
so, yeah.
Yeah, so heck of a giveaway. Thanks to Brandon. Thanks to Yozuri, one of his major sponsors. We'll give it away at the end of the show. We've got an awesome trivia question that actually Card came up with.
they won't even tell me the answer to
It's
it.
really.
I, have no
I don't
idea.
even know the anser. I mean, I
Who
have
knows
it,
the
but I
answer?
forgot it. So I'm going to rely on Card for the
Okay,
numbers.
Brandon's determining
Brandon's
the winner
numbers.
tonight.
Do you remember all that?
Yeah, well, I need to
You got it on your phone.
pull up the text.
Okay, no problem. No problem. I'll handle like asking if you can pull up the numbers and I'll
Exactly.
shoot. Okay, all right, we'll work together. We'll make it work. All right, so big shout out. I got to give a big shout out. And by the way, this is cool. You'll like this, Thrift.
All right, what we
You'll like
got?
this, Brandon. So the CCBA, which is the Cleveland County Bass Anglers, the junior and the high school division, they went and fished their first tournament of the season this past weekend on Lake James that we were just talking about, the only place in North Carolina you can maybe still catch a pure strain smallmouth. They had their first event, and Bentley Black
Oh, yeah.
One of our buddies who actually just texted me and said he shot his shooter buck. So they're having a heck of a week, by the way.
Yeah.
So Bentley, his son,
Won his first tournament.
That's right. His first tournament in the junior division, won it, fishing solo. The poor Bentley was sick as a dog
Was he
Friday.
really? I didn't know
he had to leave school Friday. He was running a fever, and he went home, and his daddy, because he's fishing solo, Buddy was, he allowed him to go, and he took him because
Right.
Bentley was dead set on fishing, didn't matter what.
Right.
Bentley went, and they ended up winning the tournament. He had a limit for, I think, right at 8 pounds, won the junior division. Then the CCBA had 2 teams take second and third. Now, there's 80-something teams in this tournament. Take second and third place in the high school division. They also had a team that won big fish in the high school division.
That is
so
good.
CCBA, big shout out to those guys and gals. There's a couple girls on the team, too, with a heck of a showing in their first event. And, man, that's something to be proud of, because this county has never had a fishing team, number one, except maybe a high school here dabbled
Right.
in it. But now they've got a team that consists of 30-plus kids. I think they sent, I don't know, like 8 teams, Tyler, to the tournament this past weekend. So about 16 kids got to go fish this event. Just a cool opportunity for the kids. And big shout out to their sponsors, Lunkertex being one of the major supporters of that team. And again, his daddy's texting me again about how he shot his target buck just a little while ago. So I've still got these texts popping up on my phone. But big shout out to CCBA. So
Tell him I want to see a picture.
yeah, he might be waiting for me to get done with this podcast so I can go help him drag. but anyway, he said he thinks he heard him crash. So congrats to Mr. Buddy Black. Well, I hope it's a congrats. It'd be kind of bad if we go over there and don't find it now. Anyway, big shout out to CCBA. So, all right, on to the next hot topic. We want to talk about a couple things. I know last week we talked about, well, we didn't talk about anything because we didn't have any audio.
We did, but then nobody could hear it.
That's right. Yeah, Brian and I had a good conversation
had some
going
great
until everybody, about
conversations.
30 comments said, yeah, we can't hear you. But anyway, Tyler tried his best. In Tyler's defense, he tried his best, but it didn't work out. But we're back. Everything's good to go. I do want to address a couple of those changes that we have not had an opportunity to talk about that the Bassmaster Open's made next year. Now, I know this is old news, and it came out, but we haven't discussed it on the show. And I wanted to...
And then I think, actually, MLF announced their deal today, actually.
What deal is that?
5 fish.
Oh, so
Yeah,
I
the
wasn't...
5
That was going to be one of our other
Yeah,
topics.
that was going to be one of our other
So
topics.
first-
So it's official now.
First, let's talk about that, because I didn't know that was official. We had heard the rumors. We were actually going to spill the beans a little bit last week.
Yeah, we were.
when we couldn't talk about it. But anyway, so I've been hearing rumors for about a month and a half. So is Thrift.
Yeah,
and,
that's about what I've been hearing, too.
that the BPT is officially now going to a 5-fish format.
Yeah, so it's still going to be the catch, weigh, and release. It's just going to be your 5 biggest count instead of every fish over 2 pounds.
Okay, so your 5 biggest. Now, will they still weigh them in the boat?
Yeah, it's still catch, weigh, release.
Okay.
So you're still not hauling around in live wells and bringing them back to the weigh-in. You're still catch, weigh, and release, and then add them all up.
Okay, and so one of the early on speculations was that only the regular BPT events would be 5 fish, but some of the other events, like your heavy hitters and stuff, might
I
stay
think
multiple
that's
fish.
still how it's going to be. Don't quote me on this, but I think Red Crest and regular season BPT events are going to be the 5-fish format, and heavy hitters and the cups will remain the every fish counts catch, weigh, and release format.
Okay.
That's what I think. So.
All right. Well, we're not going to hold you to it. If
Yeah,
your
don't
name's-
hold me to it
If your
because I
first
don't
name's
know.
not Boyd and your last name's not Duckett, we don't hold you to it, I promise you.
I mean, I've got the official release right here.
Or press release. Are we waiting on you to read that?
No, I've already read it.
Okay.
And it didn't say anything about heavy hitters and all that.
Got you. But that's still kind of what's floating around,
Right.
potentially. So,
Right.
All right. So interesting change of events, a swing of so let me ask you this. So how do you? I want your honest opinion. 5 fish versus every fish counts. Well, every scoreable fish counts. What's your take on the 2 formats, and what would you prefer? And don't give me the I don't care.
Well, I really don't.
Oh, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
My job is to be a professional fisherman and catch fish. I don't care what the format is. I'm going to adjust how I practice and fish to whatever the format is, as long as I know ahead of time.
That's the most boring answer I've ever heard.
Well,
But I mean, surely you still have a preference.
I kind of have a preference for both. That's why I can't decide which
Okay,
one.
let me ask you this.
I'm going to tell you the reasons. So with the every fish counts format, and y'all are going to agree with me on this. If you don't, there's something wrong with you.
Well, there's something wrong with me and Brandon. So,
Yeah.
So
Brandon and I,
under the
sorry.
every fish counts format, if you make a bad decision the first day, we've all done that. Somewhere throughout
make
the
a lot
course
of
of the
those.
year,
Oh, yeah.
we all make a bad decision the very first day, and you find yourself in a hole.
Yep.
With a 5-fish limit format, it's hard to come out of that and contend to win. Like it's possible to come out of it and get a check or have a decent tournament, but very hard to contend to win. But with the every fish counts format, you can still contend to win. You
Yeah.
can come back and still win the event.
well, unless you're 100 pounds behind Jacob.
That doesn't matter because it's zero.
Well, that's
Well,
right,
yeah,
'cause
it
it's
zeroes
zeros.
out,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So I forgot about the zero.
So
okay.
with the 5-fish format, if you bomb the first day and you're 10 pounds behind the cut line for the second day, that's going to be hard to make up. It's going to be hard to gain ground. So it's kind of going to, like from that aspect, I like the every fish counts format. But 5-fish, I feel like that relates more to what everybody's used to. You know, like we all grew up fishing 5-fish tournaments. That's what pretty much every other tournament in the country is, and that's what the fans know. And so I think from a viewing aspect, it's going to be more relatable in that aspect of it.
So a couple
Yeah.
questions relating to this change. I'm gonna shoot. Let me ask my question first. So fast forward to the red crest at Lake Norman. He's gonna have a preference here. To the red crest at Lake Norman, which is March, right?
Yeah.
Would you prefer it be 5-fish or every fish counts?
You're gonna not like my boring answer again.
I really don't have a preference
Oh,
because
my
I'll fish two
Lord.
different ways. If every fish counted, I would fish.
Don't you feel like Thrift has a little bit more of an edge on the 5-fish deal at Lake Norman in March than all the fish deal?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, lying. He's a liar. He's a liar.
No, because I
Well-
would fish and practice different for each format.
Now, Matt, what we're not thinking about though is how deadly he is with the forward shooting sonar.
I suck at that.
No, you are good
yeah,
at
but
it.
it's
he's
getting to the
he's
point.
being humble.
I mean, yeah, but you look at Connell and Wheeler and
Yeah, like
and
I'm-
MDJ. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that are torching them on that stuff
Yeah.
right now. Now,
Yeah.
the reason I said that is because you and I had a conversation about this several weeks back, and you know where a lot of those big fish set up at Norman pre-spawn.
Yeah.
So you know those individual places where you can go up and
Yeah,
have a
but
better
knowing-
chance of catching a 3 or 4 pound largemouth
But
than
knowing
somebody
where
out there
they're
deep.
setting and catching them's a whole different.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with that, but you're one of the best there is at that lake at that time of year doing that. So anyway, I'm going to answer for him. He'd much
No,
rather.
I'll argue that maybe I used to be 5 or 6 years ago. I haven't spent much time at Norman in the last.
Well,
4
you
or
haven't
5
spent
years.
much time fishing 5-fish tournaments either. So,
That's true, but
and it does change the way you fish.
oh
right?
yeah, definitely.
So-
Like I would practice totally different for the two different formats.
Right,
I
right.
mean,
Um,
obviously,
yeah, so
unless it's
interesting.
a 2 pound minimum.
Well, at Norman, that'd be tough.
Right, exactly.
Maybe not March,
Like
but-
if it's a 2 pound minimum and all fish counts, like it'd be hard to catch more than 5 2-pounders in a day
I can't
anyway.
tell you. I've seen like Let's Go Brandon like 6 times. Sorry,
I know.
sorry, Clark.
I keep seeing that too.
What is
I
it?
get it everywhere I go.
Do you? All right. So two questions in relation to the changes.
All right.
What's your thoughts about because weighing the fish on the water? Because I think about this at our Texas tournaments when we have marshals that
Yeah.
judges that weigh our fish and we
Exactly.
turn loose. So about the scales on the water, because would you prefer to bring them in and everybody's fish be weighed on the same scale? If you had the choice, if you could make the rules and you had the choice.
Yeah, as far as keeping it a controlled environment and the weights being more accurate, yes.
So
100%.
now they carry extra scales too, right?
Yes, every official carries 2 sets of scales in case there is a malfunction. But there's so many variables to it, like that most people don't think about. Like if you're trying to think, like if you're in a rough water situation, you're out there and they're trying to weigh a fish in 2-footers and the boat's bouncing up and down, the scales never really settle. If the wind's blowing hard, that's putting more pressure on the fish. I mean, it could, like, it's not going to give you much, but like if it's teeter-tottering between, you know, a half and a 3/4 ounce to round up the next ounce, that could round it up to that next ounce, obviously. So from a actual controlled environment and it being more exact, I think bringing them in and weigh them is definitely better.
Got
I
you.
mean, I don't see how
I got a
anybody
question
could argue
for you
it's
on
not.
that. Since we only have one event per year where we weigh them, you don't see the elite guys doing this, but over there on the BPT, I see guys clipping the fish different. Like some of them clip
Yeah.
them on the top. Some of them
I
on the
don't-
I
side.
haven't noticed that.
So
Yeah.
does that actually help the weight a little bit by changing where you clip the fish? Because I keep seeing that, and I know there's a reason that they're doing it.
I
just
don't
haven't-
know. I've just noticed that this year.
Yeah.
And
Huh. That's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you'll see a guy, they'll weigh it in the middle of the bottom jaw like a normal person would weigh it.
Right.
And then if it's an ounce shy or something, or they'll clip it
Clip
on the
it
side
somewhere
of the
else just to
jaw
see
or
if
on
it
the top
changes.
jaw.
The top.
That's interesting.
See, I don't think that's right. Like, I think it ought to be a rule. They've got to be clipped in
In
the
the
same
same
spot.
spot.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
I don't like that at all because to me, it's trying to gain an advantage.
Okay,
Like,
so-
if you think about it,
Yeah.
So,
I don't like that at all.
Jerry, did y'all vote on this?
Yes.
Okay, so back to my earlier question. Jerry Catula wants to know which way did you vote?
I ain't saying. No, we actually had three choices.
I love it.
No, we had three choices. We had straight 5 fish catch, weigh, and release, and then we had an option of a blended format, which would be
Confusing.
kind of confusing. And then we had the option of keep it the same. Every fish counts, catch, weigh, and release. And I actually voted for the blended version.
Oh my gosh! Of course he did. Well,
blended.
sounds like that might be what y'all have. Some events still this, and
Yeah, I
some
mean,
events
it
that.
kind of is because I do like the aspect of every fish counts. Like, to me, that's a fun day on the water. Like, yeah, it's nice to go out and say, hey, I caught 25 pounds, but it's also nice to go out there and say, man, I caught 70. I had a ball. You
Well,
know?
and you know that could vary by lake too. Go ahead, Brandon.
So walk us through the blended option. I'm interested to see. I mean, because that
well,
was
I guess that's just like keeping the heavy hitters and the cups as all you can, like every fish counts, catch, weigh, and release. Deal.
I thought you meant like blended, like for
Oh,
the
like two
tournament.
different
like,
styles and-
Like the
no.
first 2 days is every fish counts, then the last 3 would
Changing
be-
during the event.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be.
That would be really, really
Yeah,
hard to
that would be
practice for.
I
confusing.
thought you were
That would
meaning
be
kind of like
confusing.
the original Cup Series, how they would change by round.
Oh, ooh,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah, you couldn't do that.
You want to drive some fans crazy? Do that. Change the format every day of an event. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got
That would
right.
drive me crazy if I was.
So what about this question though?
Brandon's got questions.
I know, I
like
like it. I like it.
How do you feel about zeroing the weights now that it's a 5 fish limit?
With our format, you have to. So with the elite format, all of y'all fish every day of competition. So with
Yeah.
our format, we have 2 groups that are fishing on separate days.
Exactly.
So you have to zero it because it's really not fair because you could have one day that there's, maybe a nasty wind or a thunderstorm or something.
Yeah.
Fish don't bite. And then another day's like pretty and sunny and fish laying on bed everywhere and the guys just smoke them. So when you have 2 groups fishing separate days, you have to zero the weights after that round. And then so the only competition days that can actually carry the weight over has got to be against a group of guys that all fish together.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. All right, so let's jump over to our next little change that's happening next year. Back to the Opens topic, and then we're going to get in talking about the Bassmaster Classic because that just happens to be in Brandon's old
That
hometown.
is his old stomping ground.
Yeah,
old,
my
old
old
hometown.
hometown.
How long did you live there in Knoxville?
Well, I grew up in Caryville, Tennessee, which was just 45 minutes north of Knoxville. So that's where I lived
All your
my
life.
first 18 years. Then I obviously went away in college, came back after college, and I actually lived in Knoxville for several years
Okay.
after college.
Okay, so you got you know that fish.
So you
as good
still
as
got a
anybody.
good close place to stay for the Classic.
Yeah. My mom's house is not too far away
Good deal.
from the
There you
ramp.
go.
So yeah, I'll be sleeping in Mama's
Nice.
house.
Let's talk about the Bassmaster Open changes because everybody knows at this point what the changes were, how the qualification for the Elite Series has been adjusted for next year. I haven't really talked about my thoughts, but since we've got Brandon in the studio tonight, I know him and I think very similar on this topic. I do believe we discussed it a little bit before the show. I'm gonna shoot it over to Brandon and let him kind of dive into why this is a good thing for the Elite Series moving forward. Talking about the changes of the Opens next year.
Yeah, so now they're going to basically take the top 9 anglers from 9 open events, whereas for as long as the opens have been around, they would take 3 from each division. So basically, if you were the top 3 anglers from the Southerns, from the Northerns, the Centrals, then you obviously got in the elites that way. So now you have to fish all 9, which is all 3 divisions, to be able to qualify for the elites. So I'm kind of torn on this because I do think that in 3 events, if you have just one bad event, and let's face it, it's hard to string together 3 great events, and that's what you have to do, or that's what you had to do before, is string together 3 great events back to back to back to get an invite to the elites.
What did you, when you qualify, what were your finishes? You remember?
Finished 9th, 4th, and 13th.
See, that is absolutely.
Yeah,
Did you
that's
win
a
the
phenomenal
division?
year.
No, I finished 2nd.
Yeah.
Look, 9th, 13th,
yeah.
and 4th, and he finished 2nd in the division of 225 plus boats,
Yeah.
right?
It's like that through all those. Like even on the Toyota series,
gauntlet.
like when you only have 3 or 4 events, you can't finish outside the top 15 and win the
Yeah,
points.
that's
like,
right.
It's impossible.
That's right.
And so we were talking about this earlier. My brother is an excellent fisherman, and he came close several years in a row, but he would always have that one tournament where he was like in the 40s or 50s.
Right.
And then he was just out of it.
Right.
You'd
Find yourself in 8th, 9th, 10th place, something
Yep,
like that.
Exactly. So now, fishing all 9, and they're taking 9 guys. Obviously, the cream will rise to the top, and I feel like the 9 guys that get an invite will be the best guys that year.
Yeah.
You kind of take a little bit of the luck factor out because some guys can just get hot and just have 3 great
Really good
events
tournament.
back to back, and they're in. So from that standpoint, I like it, but from the standpoint of like a working man, like I used to be. I mean, I ran a landscape company, and then I fished the 3 opens, and
Hard
I got
to get
in.
9 weeks off of work.
Yeah, I mean, I
Right.
wouldn't have been able to take 9 weeks off,
Right.
from landscape. I mean, I was running a small crew, and we were busy, booked up. I mean, I couldn't have left for 9 weeks. So from that standpoint, that kind of bothers me. But I mean, I don't know. I'm torn on. I mean, what's your thoughts, Matt?
Well, that was not the answer I was expecting.
I'm kind of
y'all were similar. What happened?
I thought we were too. I guess I was dead wrong. So no, you touched on a few things before the show that I think we do agree on, and the whole purpose of this, which back to your situation, you're kind of a rare breed because you understand the game. You're good at what you do, and you're good at the business side of the industry too. And what happens, in my opinion, and no, it's been proven, is these guys that fish these 3 opens are doing it with not I don't want to call it a pipe dream, but they work a full-time job, right? A good paying full-time job, good business. And they jump out in these 3 opens, in the hopes they might win one, make the Classic, which is awesome. But then they end up having 3 good events, and then they qualify for the elites. Well, there's been guys turn it down over the years because of that, because they weren't prepared, or they didn't really think that this is a reality, and then it happens. And then there's been guys that qualify, and then they jump in, right? They jump in with very little experience, and then in 2 years they're gone. So
That's kind of different though, because I know I've got some personal friends that have qualified several times and just didn't.
because they have a very good job that they didn't want to leave.
They don't have any interest in.
Correct,
They like
correct.
fishing the opens. They like participating in
Correct.
a higher
100%.
level tournament.
100%.
But it
So-
doesn't interest them to go to the top.
Correct. So now those guys still fish. They're still
Right,
happy.
yeah,
They win
they're
one.
still there.
They make the
Yeah.
Classic. So now that option will never be there. Those guys won't even have to make that decision. Now what they're doing is they fine-tune it to where when a guy fishes 9 tournaments, they know he is a dedicated professional angler that is looking to pursue a full-time career in the sport, right? So what that does is it creates a more well-rounded angler and a true elite fisherman. Because if that got your buddies, several of your buddies wouldn't have even done all 9 because they didn't care about qualifying for the elites,
they wouldn't.
right?
They wouldn't ever do it
so
anyway,
that takes away the guys that you heard complaining more about it were not the Bradley Hallmans, the John Sokups, the Andrew Upshaws, Laws, the Cooper Gallants, the Tristan McCormicks, all these kids that are dedicated. I'm going to make it as an elite, and I'll fish everything I can and do whatever I can to get there. Because in every professional sport out there, if a kid plays in the NFL now, he has done that his entire life, and he's practiced every day to get there, right?
Yeah.
And he's dedicated to the sport, and that's what. I think that's what Bass's goal was in doing this and changing the qualification.
Right.
The other side of that, like
It's
Brandon
going to
talked
make
about,
y'all's job harder.
well, absolutely. So it definitely is going to keep sharpening the elites. I mean, these
Yeah.
kids are getting so good nowadays. Like every kid that comes in is no joke, right? So competition's going to get stiffer. Hopefully, by the time they're so good, I'm retired. I don't have to worry about
That's
it
what I'm hoping. I'm like, I got to make it about 15, 20 more years.
Yeah. So, but back to the whole deal about 9 guys go. What it does allow in 9 tournaments, you can have a bad tournament now.
Yes.
You know, you could have finished those 3 finishes and then finished 65th or 85th in one and still made the elites.
Yep.
So now it's more of a reality for a guy who's a more well-rounded, versatile angler to fish 9 events, bounce around all over the country, and consistently produce checks. I think a guy, what do y'all think next year to make the top 9 in the cumulative deal? Just an average finish.
What's the total points? Like, I don't.
So yeah, it's 1-point scales, right? 200.
I mean, is it
Yeah.
250?
I'm not asking for point totals, but what do you think a guy in 9 events? Let's just say 200 guys do it. A guy to finish in the top 9 in 9 events. What do you think he has to average next year? It's not going to be 8th like Brandon
No,
averaged.
I'm going to say
No.
20th, 25th.
Okay, I was
over
going to say
9
about
Yeah,
30th.
I was going to say
but-
about 30th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, if you average that.
right. So that's interesting to sit back and think about, right? Because now you're going from having to.
Yeah, it allows you some wiggle room.
Right.
Like you can
Correct.
You can have one really bad event and a couple of not great events.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
And still make it.
I
That's
see
right.
a couple of questions on here. So I guess I left out an important aspect of this past year, and I guess they've done it now for a couple of years. They have invited 3 guys from the overall. So
That's
there has been 3 invites given
yeah.
out
What were the
to,
points on that?
to the overall guys, and I guess that I think Hank Weldon said there was 80 something guys this past year that fished in all 9.
80 something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there
That's
was
more
3
than I thought
invites
they had.
given out for the overall AOY for all 9. And so that's how it was. So they had 3 overall, 3 from each division. So there was actually 12 invites given out this year on the Opens. Next year, it's going down to 9, but it's 9 overall.
Yep.
So, some guys made some comments that SoCup had a 43rd place average.
Okay. So
okay.
so he made it. So my understanding, he made it in the cumulative.
Yeah.
The overall.
Okay, and he finished like 6th in the overall, I think. So what happens? There was quite a few elite guys that fished.
Or it already qualified.
They were already elite guys, so
Yeah.
it goes to the next one in line.
Right.
Now, what I don't know, and you might can answer this, Brandon, is if a Southern guy who fished all of them finishes 2nd in the Southerns and 2nd in the overall, where do they go down the list?
Which that actually happened, I think, with at least 2 guys and maybe 3.
It must be the overall.
Yeah, so they gave the benefit to the guys that fished all 9, and
Yeah.
they worked down the overall list. So they filled all the.
I think that's good.
Yeah, that's right.
They filled
Yeah.
all the division spots first, and then they did the overall.
Okay, so that makes
worked
sense.
down the field.
Because back to the whole reason they changed the format, right? The guys that were more dedicated, that fished all the
Had
events,
more
Exactly.
invested in
that had
it.
more
Yeah.
vested, they wrote. Okay, so that's how
That
SoCup
makes
got
sense.
in.
Exactly. That's how he got in for sure.
All right, so that makes sense.
That's good. I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah. So who are all the qualifiers? Do we know? I know Hallman made it.
Yeah, I know Hallman.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brad.
I
by the
seen
way.
a good question about that for you, Maddie.
Bring it.
Let's see, where was it? Oh, with Hallman and SoCup making it.
Yeah.
How's the?
Oh no, I can go ahead and answer that. You ain't have to finish. I ain't running 5 deep in a house next year. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that right now. If
I'm trying to
Hollywood wants
find
to
the
bring them
exact
2 in,
question.
me and Canterbury go back the way we were 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. And I think Canterbury would be on board with that. But no,
You
I
just have to
mean
rent bigger houses. You have to get like 5,000 square foot houses. and
that, ain't,
stuff.
that we already get those because Hollywood's booking them. So yeah,
Scotty too hardy.
The trouble is not the house space. The trouble is the parking
Yeah, you
situation.
ain't- I mean, I'd
when
say-
you try to park 5 trucks and boats, ooh,
I don't think we went to a tournament this year and had a house this year anywhere where we could have put 5 rigs
no,
regardless.
it's rare to find that. Very rare.
And then you got the Minion squad, McCoy and that crew running around the house with all their camera equipment. They'll have every table in the house just chock full of just electronic stuff. Stuff that mean you don't even know what it is, but drones and GoPros.
They got
and
USB chargers plugged in
everywhere, every outlet. I can't find an outlet to plug my boat cord in because they got stuff charging everywhere. No, I imagine those two boys, since they run together, I guess they're both Bass Tank guys. I think John actually owns it, doesn't he?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think he
John
does
owns it.
something.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
so-
actually talking to him driving here today.
Oh,
so-
New must be watching because he just texted me somebody that also qualified. They nicknamed Cowboy. Everybody knows him because he always wears a cowboy hat. Joey.
Oh yeah, Joey
Sequences.
Fuentes. Yeah.
Wait, who said that wrong? Who said it right?
Is it Sequentes?
No, there's no Q in it.
Cifuentes.
There's an F in it.
Cifuentes. Okay.
Cifuentes.
What is it?
Joey Cifuentes.
Cifuentes.
Yeah, so
Joey.
I was-
Cifuentes.
I mispronounced.
Huh? Cifuentes. Joey made it. Cooper Gallant.
Yeah, Cooper
Or
Gallant.
Gallant. Is it Gallant or Gallant?
That one I do not know.
Okay. He's
And
Canadian.
there's
so there's
David Gaston.
David Gaston. Oh, the card's over looking it up.
There's Latuso, which that's
Oh, Robbie's boy.
that's Robbie's
Yeah,
boy.
good.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
really close a couple years ago making
Yeah.
it. Okay, so Logan Latuso,
Yeah, Logan
Cooper
Latuso.
Gallant. Gallant. That sounds more French, right? He's Canadian, so it's probably French. Gallant. Yeah, not Gallant. Yeah, Gallant.
I mean, country guys they call him Gallant.
Well, I mean, we're all pretty country, I'd say.
I'm sure he's answered the worst.
We're getting, so
Which,
Joey,
which
John, Brad.
I'm pretty sure that he was my marshal on the St. Lawrence River years ago. He's a super nice guy.
Oh, he's got all
Cooper-
your juice now.
Yeah, right. That guy's way better on that St. Lawrence River than me.
Doesn't he live up there somewhere?
That was the year
Yeah.
that I was catching him catching largemouth on a frog, and he's probably laughing at me.
Oh my God, I bet he was
Hey,
laughing.
he was back there with his head in his lap.
Yeah.
Going, oh, look at this guy.
But it was a fun day. So catching him on a frog, you can't
What I
complain
do? My
about
screen
that.
just turned sideways.
Did you do good in that tournament?
There we go.
Yeah, I think the smallmouth were off that year. I finished fourth
With largemouth?
with
Well,
largemouth.
Wasn't that
somebody almost win with largemouth not
So
long ago?
Greg Hackney finished third.
Yeah, but this was like in the last couple of years. He's catching them on chatterbait.
Was it John Cox?
Oh no, Brock Mosley.
Oh yeah,
Brock
Mosley
Mosley.
right
I
outside
forgot
of the
that.
takeoff.
Yeah,
Didn't
that
he
was-
almost win? Like he finished second or
he
something?
had like 23-pound bags every day or something.
Yeah.
He that was real close to takeoff.
That was
too.
wild.
Which was- yeah, that was wild, man. That was real.
That was
wild.
like a lot of main river, just like it wasn't even in a bay.
It was, yeah. Some of it was in that big bay on the right when you come
Some
out.
of it was, yeah.
But I mean, he
Just
was like,
catching giant largemouth.
I mean,
Crystal clear water, just
That's
rolling
crazy.
a chatterbait around.
everything you've ever read about on what not to do.
That's what
He was doing it, and he was crushing
See,
them.
I
But,
love big dumb ones.
yeah, these were the big dumb ones. Now,
Big dumb ones are fun to catch.
Now they're much smarter now, though. I can promise you.
Yes, I
After
would
that
say
show, they're way smarter, and they're smaller. So anyway, the smallmouth just keep getting bigger and bigger up there. All right. So we talked about the opens changes. We talked about MLF changes. One thing that we definitely need to discuss. We still got plenty of time, so let's
yeah.
talk about this other change. So let's talk about
I don't even know what it is.
the invitational deal.
Oh yeah.
So-
yeah, the other MLF.
So,
change.
and we've all got buddies that fished over there. I'd be lying if I said I don't feel bad for some of them. I know some of them are definitely going to be jumping in the Bassmaster Opens
We
this
just
year.
lost our screen.
Tyler, what'd you do? Oh, it went to
It
sleep.
goes to sleep. It needs a nap sometimes.
Yeah, it needs to take a nap every once in a while.
Yeah, I need a nap.
Kenta, Jerry said Kenta made it. Wait, Kenya Kimura? Does he mean Kenta Kimura? Kenta's already on. Yeah,
Gotta be.
Kenta's already on the Elite Series,
Yeah.
but he did double qualify, which went to the next spot. So,
There is a Japanese angler that qualified.
oh, there is. Okay, well maybe he's right, but that's awfully close to Kenta Kimura,
Fujita.
huh?
I think his last name is Fujita. I'm not good at pronouncing
Spell
his
it.
last names. Fujita.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, I ain't
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
tell.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, Fujita maybe.
there you go.
All right, so what they've done, are you real clear on the restructuring and how everything's going to work? Because I'm
Vaguely,
semi-clear.
I wouldn't say I'm real clear. I'm hazy at best.
Okay, so here's what I know, and then you tell me, because there's something that I don't
Probably
know.
know the same thing I know.
Brian New's texted me. Oh, by the way, Brian New wants everybody to know that he qualified for his second time for the Elite Series because he won the Opens. Nobody cares, New. You're already in the Elite
Congratulations, Brian.
Yeah. Oh, Card said congratulations. You know what?
Hey, I'm impressed.
Here's something funny because everybody knows this. So he texts me. I was in the shop and he texted me. He said, "Hey, I qualified for the Elite Series again." He's already an elite angler, and he found out he made like a huge jump in the last tournament, and he won the points in the Southern. Was it Southern?
Southern.
Yeah.
He won the points in the Southern Division, and he said, "I qualify for the elites again." And I said, "That's great. I never qualified."
I don't know what's more impressive, qualifying twice or never qualifying.
That's pretty good.
And he didn't say anything. Oh, he just sent me the middle finger emoji. Love you, new. Mean it. But I think you might have a replacement. Card's giving you a run for your money.
Oh,
and he's
Lord.
not as vulgar as you are
He's
either.
not.
So, yeah, he's much cleaner. All right, so the Invitational. So here's what I know. So basically, they did away with the championship, which was Forest Wood Cup, became the Tackle
Yeah.
Warehouse Championship.
Yeah, totally did away with it.
Totally did away with championship. You can qualify for the BPT through this league, through the
Right.
Invitationals, but you have to fish all 6. There's 6, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only qualifying, I guess,
Criteria.
yeah, for making the BPT is you have to fish the invitation.
Okay.
I
And
think.
you can also
Yeah, I think that's right.
can you cherry pick some?
So the way I've understood it is there are 100 places going to the top 100 in points from last year, as far as the invitationals.
From the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit.
Right,
Okay.
and then there will be 50 places offered to BPT guys
Okay.
that want to fish all of them. So,
Okay,
So
okay.
guys that want to fish all of them will have, priority right after the guys that finished in the top 100 in the invitationals last year.
Got you.
And then I think after that, there's maybe cherry pickers.
Okay. So
I think
if
that's right.
if there's room, so what's the field size? Is it
150.
And it's cut off at 150.
Yes, cut off
All
at
right.
150.
I haven't read the details of the payout. I do know it pays. I know it's a $5,000 entry fee, which actually is a little bit less. The Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit guys were paying about
Yeah.
$5,700.
Yeah,
I
it's,
think somewhere in
they
there.
Took a little bit off the entry fee and took a little bit off the payout as well.
Yeah, so I know first place is $80,000 now.
Yeah.
$5,000 entry fee, 6 events.
Yep.
Um,
I think they pay 8,000 to 50th.
Okay,
if
so
I'm not mistaken,
so
I
basically a third of the field's getting paid.
Yes. Yeah.
And,
same structure as far as a third of the field's getting paid, but I think it's 8,000 to 50th and maybe 10th from 30th, 10,000 from 30th to 10th, or 30th to 11th,
11th
and
to
then top
30th.
10 obviously be higher.
Okay, got you. All right. Well, that clears up some things.
Yeah.
So some slight changes over there. I don't know. I know we all know a lot of guys that we're fishing at.
Oh, yeah.
Well, some of my closest buddies, Dylan Hayes, is one of them. He's already in the BPT.
Right.
So he's fishing the BPT. Trying to think. Well, I know Jeremy Lawyer ended up making the BPT before the changes took place. Who else is coming out of that pro circuit that
I know Spencer Sheffield.
he made the BPT?
Yeah, and I'm not sure who the other ones are.
Nick
Okay.
LeBrun.
Yeah, Nick made it. I
Yeah,
really
Nick, so Nick almost qualified for the elites.
He did, yeah.
He didn't though, did he? I think
No,
he just missed
didn't.
it.
He just missed it because the Logan rallied from like 100 and something place to he was actually leading the
with a
tournament.
30-something pound bag.
Yeah,
I saw that.
And I guess he finished in 4th, but yeah,
Wow.
that bumped. That actually bumped James Niggemeyer
and I seen James barely
yeah,
missed it.
they both got bumped by Logan and that Weatherall.
Got you,
the
got you.
Weatherall guy. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure who all else made it.
So for those guys that were fishing Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit that did not qualify for the BBT, they got some decisions to make, obviously, whether they want to
yeah.
go opens, fish the invitationals or whatever. And Nick would have had a heck of a decision. I guess it made his decision a lot easier now. I'm sure he's
Yeah.
going to go BPT. But he almost made the elites and the BPT.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Which I mean, I guess John Cox fished both, or he fished all 3 one year, and then he
Yeah, I
chose
don't.
Yeah.
he chose to just focus on the elites and the pro circuit this year. But I don't know how in the world he did all 3.
I
That's
don't either.
amazing.
That's ridiculous.
That's unbelievable.
I couldn't do that. Personally, couldn't do that.
No, I couldn't. I don't want to be away from home that much.
That's right.
I'm
That's
a
right.
homebody.
You and me
I like
both.
to be home.
Yeah.
You and me both. All right, so we talked about basically all the major changes. Let's
It's gonna be
dive.
an interesting year next year. It's gonna be fun.
Definitely going to be a lot of things shaking up in the industry. It's funny because I don't know exactly who's going to be doing it, but I think the Opens will see a lot of new faces. I think the
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
you know, I'd be interested to see how many guys commit to all 9. Are we going to have
Yeah.
80 to
What'd
100?
how many did you say they had?
They had 80 something this
So
year.
they had 80 something this year.
I would say since that's the only way in, there's going to be it'll be double that.
What
I
do you
would
guess,
assume.
So
Brandon?
what are they going?
I
How
would
are they
assume
going to
double
do entry into the Opens? Because I know I've always heard from everybody like it's so hard to get into the Opens because so many people try
Well-
to sign up. So they're going to have to give priority entry to guys that are going to sign up for all 9 now.
There it is. So
Yeah.
I just got a text earlier today and got that email, and at the bottom of it, I don't know if you read it, but it gives you the dates on when people can sign up. And obviously, like Bass Life members have a day, Bass
Right.
members have a day, General Public has a day. But I think if I read it correctly, I think there is a day for the anglers that actually are going to commit to all 9.
Right.
So I think there is an option for those guys or
Yeah,
gals
like
to.
you would think they would have priority because think about it, like if that was
Sure.
your goal was to qualify for the elites and you sign up for all 9 Opens, but you only get in 7 of them.
Yeah, I
That
know.
ain't going to work.
Yeah.
That's going to suck.
I mean, yeah, that's going to be tough, and Bass is going to really have to because I did this one year. I never got into Opens. I tried one time to get in the Opens, and
Yeah.
I didn't get in the first one, so I wasn't going to fish them all, right? Because if I win one, I couldn't make the Classic. And that's
Right.
the reason I was going to do them.
Right.
Well, I guess Chris Bose was the tournament director at the time. He called me. He said, "Well, we couldn't get you in the first one, but we can get you in the second one." I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, what's the point of
so,
that?
So to your point, I hope nobody's stuck in limbo. Like, hey,
Right.
we don't know if we can get you in this tournament. We know we can get you in this tournament. You know, I mean, if it's me and my goal is to qualify for the elites,
You
even
got to
though
give priority entry to somebody paying for all 9.
100%,
Yeah.
like, don't leave people hanging here and there. You know,
That's just good business.
that's right.
Like if I want to cherry pick and give you, what's the entry fee in the Opens?
Now it's $1,700, $1,800.
I think it's $1,800.
Yeah. So if you got a
Yeah.
guy's like, oh, I just want to fish one tournament, I'm gonna give you $1,800, and then you got another guy that's gonna fish 9 tournaments and give you $15,000, but you're gonna tell him no, we don't want your
Well, yeah, I mean, a
15,000.
bird in the hand is, you know,
That's a no-brainer right
Yeah,
there.
that's like you can't do that. You've got to give priority to the guys that fish them all.
Oh,
I just wonder where they're going to cap them. Was it this past year? Did they cap
225
it at
supposedly.
225? Is that what it
Supposedly,
was?
yeah.
Have they ever addressed the practice issue with the Opens? Because I hear all these
something's
Guys
changed.
will practice for
Something's
2 weeks.
changing. Something's changing
gotta
with the
change.
Opens next year.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I have heard rumors, if it's already not a rule, that there's going to be some adjustments which should come out very soon to the practice days because people, and I don't
Good.
blame them. Like, look,
Yeah.
if you're dedicated to becoming an elite angler and you're practicing 17 days for an Open, you're going to have a problem in your near future, like 100%. And Brandon,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, it should be exactly what we have, 3 days.
Oh,
That's
it
what
says
Two
should
and a
be.
half, really.
Well, we got some comments. It says 30 days off limits prior now.
Yes.
Okay, so
there you
only
go.
just 3 official days of practice. Is that right?
I would imagine.
Well,
they
it
just say
doesn't-
30 days off limits.
It doesn't say when the practice starts. It just
Oh,
says 30
okay,
day off
okay,
limits.
okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Now these
That
guys
is
can't,
really good.
Yeah, guys can't go from tournament
And
to
I
tournament.
think that's one thing one reason for the push for the 5-fish format change in MLF is because it's hard for, like you can't fish a lower level tournament with that same format to qualifying for the Bass Pro Tour.
Right. So, and that's good because I always said if you're going to play, I mean, I always say baseball players should be hitting with wooden bats too, but or but anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But not to go backwards, but question for the BPT events. You're at 5-fish format. Are you still going to have A and B groups, and you're going to have it spread out? Okay, so that's going to stay the same.
Everything's going to stay the same. So you're going to have Group A, Group B,
Okay.
and both groups will fish 2 days. And Group A's weight will be cumulative for their 2 days, and Group B's weight will be cumulative. And they'll cut to the top 20 out of each group, and then the weights will zero. So you have 40 guys fishing the knockout round, just like now. And they'll start from 0 on the knockout round day, and then they will take to the top 10 from the knockout round to the championship round. But the 2 days will be cumulative of the knockout round and championship round will be cumulative. So it won't be a 1-day shootout on the championship round.
You lost me on day 17. No, I'm just kidding.
How many days is it? I don't know.
It's like 7,
6.
maybe? 6. Okay. Okay. All right. So, no, I got it. I understand it. That's what, there was a couple questions on here. So now are they going to just make it all 80 fish one day? But no, they're not. So you
No,
keep everything the
they're
same.
not going to do that. And I think I like that because it's kind of like having a day off before practice. or before the event, like you practice and then you have a
Yeah.
day off before the event. Like, I like that because, I mean, there's no other sport in the world where you practice 15 hours before you have the event or before you have the game. So why do I want to be rested up and have all my stuff ready?
Well, you don't have to practice for 15 hours.
No, but you feel like you have to.
I know that's it. That's what we always tell.
Yeah, I mean,
the
it's a-
tournament director when we're talking about taking an off day or not taking an off day, and their answer is always, "Well, you don't have to go out there."
Right.
like,
But if you have the option,
97 other guys are, and you're the
you're the
only
one who feels like an
goober.
idiot.
yeah. So I like having those days off between like Group A and Group B. Like, it gives you a chance, like,
Yeah.
you know, all your stuff's in tip-top condition. If you arms hurt, you can ice it down. You're ready to go the next day, you know.
Which I think you're a lot like me with the tackle. Dude, I work on tackle
Yeah.
for hours upon hours, and I room with Pipkins and Clifford Perch and them.
Yeah.
And, dude, they rag me out all the time because they're done in 2 hours.
Oh yeah,
Me,
it takes
like,
me
it's
like
a
6 to
minimum
8
of
hours.
Well, it's a minimum of 4 hours.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I would love to have 6 to 8 hours. You know what I mean? But so the Group A day one though, they don't get an off day. Is that correct? Because it's
They-
just practice ends, and
Well,
then
you'll get the next day off after your first
When
day.
Group B's fishing,
Yeah.
you get the day
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Yeah. But no, you won't have a day off before
to get your tackle ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So that's kind of a bummer.
But we have to be off the water at 6 o'clock the second day of practice, so that kind of gives everybody a time frame. They've all got to be off, so you're at least not fishing till dark,
Yeah.
and then feeling like, well, I need to go work on tackle, but
Till
everybody
midnight.
else is still going to be out here. So
Yeah.
Okay, so this is apparently a rumor.
that's what I was reading about the.
Have you?
people
I
fishing
haven't
over.
heard this.
I have no idea about that either.
So the
I don't
rumor
know.
that I guess Luke talked about on his podcast was that anybody fishing the Bassmaster Opens next year would not be. Oh, I know what they're talking about. Bobby Lane, because I'm pretty sure Bobby's going to be fishing the Opens next year. Don't hold me to
I
that.
heard rumor of that. Too.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure Bobby's going to be fishing the Opens next year, try to get in the elites, which means it take him out of the BPT.
Right.
He
Well,
is.
I think you can fish them both. I think the schedules allow you to fish both.
I don't know. Okay, so let's just say he's not for sake of this argument.
Yeah, he's just fishing open.
He is the Red Crest champion.
Yes.
Just like the Classic champion. If you get,
get to defend your
you get to
title.
defend your title.
Right.
So I guess the rumor is that if he fishes the Opens over the BPT and does not fish the BPT, he does not. Now I do know this. So Bass is like this too.
Right.
If you are a Bassmaster Classic champion
And you don't fish.
and you do not fish the Elite Series to follow, okay, so Ott Defoe,
Ott
perfect
Defoe,
example.
Luke Clausen
Luke
did the
Clausen,
same thing
yep.
in 2006.
Ott Defoe back up, because this is just closer than Clausen's.
Yeah.
Back up to Knoxville when he won. Ott was not allowed to come back and fish the following Classic, although he was the defending champion, because it is written in the rules that you must compete that current year on the Elite Series. Granted, you're an elite angler,
Right.
in order to fish the championship. So Red Crest probably has the same rules.
I don't know if we have the same rule or not, but
But
I
if
would
that's the
say-
case, then
yeah,
this is true,
if that's the
you know?
case, it's probably true.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I have no idea though.
That win though, that Bobby Lane win, was that not the craziest like
That was wicked.
10
dude.
minutes of fishing?
I never went back
ever?
and watched it, but I heard all the
You
reports.
didn't watch it?
Multiple
No.
rerun. He
I don't
maxed
ever
out.
go back and watch it.
Well, the
At least go back and watch the last 10 minutes. It was
no,
insane.
watch the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, I heard it was like right at the
He
buzzer.
maxed his reways out, and it went. And
Yeah.
how often does this happen for y'all? Because obviously, the times I've seen it, it goes the opposite way.
Every time I reweigh one, I lose iron.
You lose an ounce, right?
Every time.
Well, he gained.
Never
and I didn't-
fails.
To
Never
Card's
fails.
point earlier, if you go back and watch it, I want to go back and watch where he clipped the fish each time. If he
I didn't think about
if
that.
he changed it,
I wonder if he did.
just for sake of argument, right? Just to see.
That was wild.
But the third time he weighed it, it went up an ounce.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. And then he won. And that was
But
yeah.
then Clausen caught one at the same time. You know, that was like a 4-pounder.
That's
and
right.
He took the lead.
he thought he was going to
Yeah.
win.
He thought he
Oh,
was going
yeah.
to win.
Yeah,
and
and
then
then
like
Bobby-
with a minute left, he gets the update. The Bobby Lane.
Yep.
And like it was.
Oh, it was bad.
That was
me and
unbelievable.
Luke stay together, so it was like I'm glad Bobby won, but I got to be honest, I was pulling for Luke because it would have been cool if Luke had won because he's won the Classic, he's
Won the
won the
Cup.
Forest Wood Cup, and he won Red Crest. He's like the only person to win all three.
But
Yeah,
I
that-
guess that was cool though that Bobby Lane was the one that kind of helped him out in the Classic. He said that on stage or
Yeah.
in the boat, I guess.
Can-
that he kind of showed Luke around down there at Kissimmee.
Yeah, yeah.
And
he did.
then,
Karma.
and then that's where he
Good
won.
karma,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
So, Kenny, to your point, you said, but he did fish the PPT after he won Red Crest. Correct, but the way the Classic,
That fish the current year.
it has to fish the current year when that Red Crest takes place. So that's based on the. Bye, Jeff. Jeff's out.
Bye, Jeff.
Thanks for making sure everything was working. Keeping an eye on Tyler. But yeah, that was so he did fish this year, the current year that he won Red Crest, but it has to be the year that the Red Crest that he would be in to defend his title has to be the same year.
Yes.
All right, let's see.
I don't know if we have that rule or not, though. So
Let's talk about, before we run out of time, we got about 8 or 9 minutes before we do this awesome trivia giveaway with this awesome trivia question that Card came up with tonight.
that I have no idea what is.
Actually, I had to
I'm gonna-
dilute
can I
the
answer
question
it
a little
tonight?
bit because Card had it so tough that I don't think anybody would have ever gotten it.
We would be here till midnight
And
based
he-
on
he would be
how tough I had
He'd be
it.
mad as a hornet because if he doesn't get out of here like by 5 minutes after 8,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
he'll
leaving.
just get up and leave.
Everybody
so-
knows that.
All right, let's see. Let's talk about the Classic at Knoxville and what to expect. March, the last week in March, obviously major pre-spawn deal, Tennessee River, Loudon Tellico, a lot of smallmouth. Spots shouldn't be a factor, right? The few that are in there. Largemouth and smallies mostly. What can we expect, Brandon? You've spent more time on that system than anybody. That I know, anyway.
Yeah, so this one's going to be 2 weeks later than the one that Ott won. So I think when Ott won, the top 3 weights were pretty good, but it dropped off like quick, and it was pretty bad weights. Like halfway down the field, you were like, man, that's tough fishing.
There were some big bags, though. I mean, for that place, big
No,
bags.
there was, yeah. Like Ott busted 20, and then he caught another 18. So that's good fishing for that lake,
Right.
That
What
fishery.
about when Gussie won? Is this going to be closer to the time of year he won? Or
No,
this
that
is
was
gonna
a
be later.
that was a February tournament.
Okay,
That was
yeah.
miserable.
Oh, yeah, I was talking to Lou, and that's
that
what he
was some
telling me.
really tough fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, if there ever was a time to have it, it would be closer to April. So this is as close to April as we can get.
Would this be where you'd put it if you could pick a date?
I mean, I would say for all the guys in the Classic to just have a fun week of fishing.
Yeah.
And I would say almost everybody's going to bring in a limit, which at that elite event, a limit was hard to come by.
The one Gussie won?
Yes, that
Super
one.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. In February,
I know, I had one
you're
bass
praying
one
for
day.
a limit. Yeah. Yeah, that was tough. That was a really tough tournament. So this one is going to be more enjoyable for the anglers, the fans, just a lot more fish caught. Now, I don't know if the winning weight will be as high. I feel like Ott, catching 20 and 18. Of course, he had an off day. The winning weight will probably be similar, but
What was the winning weight? 50 pounds-ish? Somewhere around there?
well, he had 20, and then he had like 10 and a half, and then he had 18 and a half.
So, yeah, almost 50 pounds. So
Yeah.
close to 50
So,
pounds.
yeah, I mean, I was kind of looking at the Hartwell Classics. It seems like a lot of those Classics, and even some of the other ones like at Grand Lake, it seems like they're always right around like that upper 40s to close to 50.
Yeah.
So I mean, it'll probably be similar to that. The thing about Fort Loudon and Tellico is the rainfall changes
Yeah.
that fishery tremendously. And you touched on that with the Lake Wiley Classic we were talking about, which is actually what our trivia question is going to be about.
Don't give away the answer.
We're
I've
not
done
going to give away.
that before.
We're not going to give away. We're not. No,
He don't remember that, so he's got to look it up.
That's true, too.
But you said that if it wasn't for all that rain, then obviously
Yeah.
that Classic
Yeah.
wouldn't have happened how it did.
Absolutely
It's
not.
the same thing on Fort Loudon and Tellico. If you get a lot of rain, that place shows out.
Yeah.
If it's real dry for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks beforehand, it can get really stingy because that place clears up.
Yeah.
And when it clears up, it gets tough.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just hoping for the sake of all of us to just have a fun week of fishing that we get
Yeah.
some good rain beforehand.
Get to showcase the lake.
Exactly.
The
Just
lake
like
should be.
we've been this year, there's not going to be any rain.
Yeah.
Don't say that, we'll get a flood.
Well, we had like 3 or 4 years of heavy flooding springs, and then this spring around here, it was
It
dry.
was pretty dry.
Yeah,
Brandon
it was.
Pritchett said his prediction is that a Brandon will win the Classic. How many Brandons we got in the Classic? Just 2, right? Polinick and
Well,
Card?
Polnick and then Lester.
Oh, Lester.
Lester.
Yeah,
Yeah.
duh. Well, that's a pretty good prediction. All right, so Kenny wants to know.
30% of the field's no Brandon.
Kenny wants to know your hot take, your top 5 of who you think might win, and you can pick yourself. I'm going to make that.
Oh, the
one.
anglers?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. You put me on the spot here.
Who cares? So let's talk fish.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
it's our
say
job.
thrift if you want to. You ain't even fishing it. Like,
So top 5. So
definitely win.
so I'm going to go with,
You need a list of
I'm going to go with
classic-
Matt Arey.
There we go. There we go.
Okay.
I'm going to go with honestly, you have to throw those other 2 Brandons in there, though, for real. They're first and second
100%
AOY.
and Polinick. Yeah, no
First and
doubt.
second AOY, so
Yeah.
those are easy. I'm obviously going to pick myself, so there's 3.
Well, there's 3 Brandons.
And I have to pick you or you're going to be mad at me.
No, I'm not.
He will be.
No, I'm not.
Let's
call me on the
see.
way home.
If I beat 3 Brandons,
he-
I like my chances.
You-
though.
you'll be in good
If I
shape.
beat, my
Yeah.
goal is I beat Polinick, Lester, and Card. I'm probably going to be in the top 5.
Yeah, I'd
At
say
least,
so.
right?
For sure.
All right.
Definitely
So,
top
so
five. I
you,
gotta beat
you
3
were
people.
doing something at Chickamauga this past year. I saw you on those bluff walls.
Why you got to broadcast all this?
That
stuff,
right there, hey, that's something that will play on Fort Loudon.
I like
so
it.
I'm just saying.
I like it.
I'm pretty sure you're probably
Yeah.
throwing your little jig around too.
So the 7 bluff walls on the lake will now have 82 boats on it.
Perfect. That's exactly what I want.
Brandon, just go ahead and redirect
Defensive
everybody.
fishing.
That's so obviously Card's not going to be throwing a jig on
Hey.
bluff walls.
Why do you think he said he's been on High Rock practicing how to skip a jig?
Yeah, well, there's plenty of docks on that place too. You know, it's so. Wait a minute, did you give us 5?
I'm stuck on
That
4.
was 4.
I'm stuck
Okay.
on
You
4.
got to pick one more.
3 Brandons and a Matt.
Let's see.
There's
here.
another Matt in the field too. You want to just go 2 Matts and 3 Brandons?
Full house. Get
Yeah.
the full house.
That's right.
I'm gonna-
Brandon's over Matt's.
I'm gonna throw some love to your buddy old Canterbury.
Oh yeah.
That son of a gun. He had a good
Had a good
tournament,
tournament
there
there last
the
time,
last
yeah.
time. Of course, it was
Yep.
February, but he's just real good in the spring of the year.
Yep.
He's great with the spinner
Rusty
bait.
said Canterbury right, like he couldn't have heard
Yeah,
you
I
say it because
seen
there's a
that.
little delay, but right before you said it, he said Canterbury.
Nice. Yeah, I mean he's excellent with the spinner bait, swim jig, and a crankbait. I mean,
You didn't say Brian. No, you know he's gonna be all butt hurt now. He'll be sitting.
Okay,
he'll be
but-
sitting,
but
does he
listen,
have your phone number? You're
I'm-
probably gonna get
yeah,
a middle
you're
finger.
gonna-
I'm
in my
taking
screen.
you. I'm taking you off my top 5. Brian Knee sneaking in there for my
Now I'm
fifth
gonna
place.
give you a middle finger. All right, so that's interesting picks. Winning weight, you still think around the 50-pound mark?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
I'll just say 49.7.
Okay. Give me 3 baits.
I've already hit on 2 of them. I mean,
Yeah.
a spinner bait, a crankbait.
And a jig. You said a jig.
I mean, yeah, you can win it on a jig.
What are you going to be throwing?
Float and fly.
Anything. anything. I'm going to go out on a
Reckon
limb and
anybody will
see.
fish that canal between the 2 lakes where Gussie won in practice?
Oh, of course not. There'll be 17 guys start there on day 1.
Hey, so tell me this. So in all
Half the
seriousness,
field
I
will be
got
down
a
there.
fish a fish quality question or whatever. Brian New send me. He's still sending me texts. It's good to know that he's watching the show.
It is
We
good to
appreciate the support. He is like half the show half the time because when Thrift's not here, he drives up and he fills in. But
This is true.
and we do appreciate that. But
It's harder
so-
for him to do that now, though.
It is.
Brandon's way closer than you are, News.
That's
He's
right.
taking your place.
I hope Brandon will come back. We hadn't given him too much of a hard time when we had Brandon
Yeah, I'd
back.
like to come back.
Looking back on Gussie's win, the smallmouth he was catching, right? I mean, great bags. He blew the tournament away, he smoked everybody, figured out a little deal at a certain little place, and it worked for him. But one thing I noticed about the smallmouth that he was catching, I didn't personally think any of them looked good. Are they always like that on Loudon and Tellico? They just look like long, skinny rails.
They were so skinny.
And that's
I
February.
remember seeing
Well,
some
yeah,
pic-
like that was what was so weird about it. Usually in February, they don't look that skinny.
They all look like that.
I mean, that looked like straight up post spawn
Right.
skinny smallmouth.
Right.
It was weird.
so I'm not the only one that saw that looking at those
Yeah.
fish going, huh, that doesn't look like a
So
February
let's
smallmouth.
talk
was
about
weird.
the 2 lakes. Like,
It's 8:01 and Thrift's keeping it going. Y'all roll with
Hey,
it.
I like
roll
that.
with it.
well, I wanted, like, I noticed that when I won, Tellico didn't play at all, did it?
Not so much, no. I mean, there was some guys that said they had good practices and stuff. I know
Yeah.
Jordan Lee, they were talking about his practice session. I know Fighter had a great practice up there from the commentary that I heard.
Yeah.
But I guess it was just the conditions. just the water's so clear up there.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, if you get a sunny, calm day, I mean, it's hard to catch them. If we get 3 days of wind, somebody could go down there and just wreck them on a jerk bait
Yeah.
and win the whole shooting match.
Huh. So it's
So-
like both lakes have potential to win.
Yeah, they
Okay.
definitely do. It's just that Tellico, all the conditions have to line up.
Right.
Fort Loudon's a little bit more forgiving because it's just more fertile.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right, so
I'm
I
done,
for-
done with questions now.
Okay, I forgot something very important. So, because 2 of my roommates were involved in this, the Black Bass World Championships
Oh, yeah, I seen that too.
were at Lake Murray this past week, and huge shout out, Team USA took gold in the team event, took gold, silver, and bronze in the regular deal.
Right, in the individual.
In the individual,
Like
team
so
event.
it was a
USA.
full sweep. What, Brandon?
USA.
Oh, okay.
USA.
Thought you had something else to say, but no, we'll pause for that every day. Congrats to the whole team. Obviously, my roommates, Hollywood and Hammerberry, laid the smackdown down there on Lake Murray. I didn't even see the weights.
I didn't either. It was in a foreign format, so I don't know.
It was in
if
grams.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
It
in
was literally in
grams.
grams.
So I
Grams?
don't know if they did good or if it was just decent weights or.
I
Y'all know
think-
any, y'all
I
know any
think-
drug dealers?
It was
winning
like
I think
8,000
Bass
something
fan
grams.
like interpreted the grams to the weights,
Yeah.
and I think that Watson and Rabanus, I think they average like 17 pounds a day.
No,
Wait, Watson won the gold?
Yeah, Watson won the
Oh
gold.
my lord!
Yeah, they were the
I ain't
the
gonna hear the
highest.
end of this.
Watson is arguably the greatest fall fisherman.
Oh, there's no
Oh
doubt.
yeah,
100%.
he's amazing at fall
100%.
fishing.
So a buddy of mine had texted me the other day, and he said he wanted to know how Hollywood and Hammerberry called him down there at Murray, because, you know, I can't talk to anybody about Murray. We have an elite tournament there next year.
I
But,
can't talk to anybody either.
but he said, well, just this is not talking to anybody, but if I just found out that Watson won, he was shallow throwing in some kind of topwater. 100% had to been, right?
That's what Watson is known for. My phone went crazy again. Sorry.
That's what he's known for. So maybe I'm sure there's a shallow deal going. I bet there's an offshore deal. I've got to be some good schooling activity down there right
Yeah.
now. Probably pick your poison. But I did hear Murray was fishing very, very tough. But those guys seem to crack the code, and they did really well. Congrats to Team USA on the gold medal, silver medal, bronze medal, all medal sweep. I saw somebody made a comment earlier about making an Olympic sport. What are we waiting on? They are pushing very, very, very hard
Yeah, they
right
are.
now to make it an Olympic
But I
sport.
don't see how you could, like, they've got to get the, you know, like the other teams have to have their some of their top guys. Like, I mean, the Canadian team, you didn't have any of the Johnstons, you didn't have Gussie. I mean, I got to think those are probably some of you would want.
Well, no,
them on.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you look at the USA team was, you know, split
Yeah,
up
it was
some.
stacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they recruited Wheeler this year. That's the first time Wheeler's fished with them, I
Yeah.
think. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Charlie Evans is kind of in charge of that deal
Yeah.
on who does what and who goes where.
Like, there's
but
got to be a qualification process for it instead of a buddy deal.
no, 100%.
to
Yeah. Right
fish
now,
it.
it's like who knows who.
Yeah.
You know, or who
Yeah.
likes who or
Yeah.
whatever, you know. I hate to say who likes who, but there's
Right.
people that don't like each other in our industry. It's just a fact. By the way, were you fishing beside Matt when he dropped his drawers this year?
No, not on that spot. I wasn't.
Okay, I got
Thank
you.
goodness.
I wonder what you
about
thought about that.
No, I think that was he was sharing a spot with Fighter on that one.
Okay, I knew he was next to somebody. I couldn't
Yeah.
because I knew y'all had fished around each other. So.
Yeah.
By the way, the catch, if you haven't seen this catch that Brandon made at Oahe this year with the smallmouth that got wrapped around your trolling motor,
that
broke the
was
line, and he
cool.
hand lined it in. Where can they see that? Can they see? Is it on the show on YouTube, or is there a highlight reel of it somewhere?
Yeah, and then just on my Instagram, I posted a reel on it.
Okay, so go to it's Brandon Card Fishing, right?
Yeah, and Facebook too.
Brandon Card Fishing on Facebook and Instagram, and go back and check that. Be sure to follow and like Brandon's page if you don't, but go back and check out that catch. That's one of the funniest and I can't believe you landed the fish. I mean, after you cut the line, I mean that was pretty
That is
crazy.
It blew my mind. I mean, it's always something on the boat with me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just me being clumsy or what, but it's like I'm either
It
falling out of the
happens.
boat, I'm either wrapping a fish around a troll motor, power pole on the prop of the Suzuki. I mean, it's always something. But I'm just glad that one got caught on camera because all the other ones are just me telling the stories, and guys are like, "You're exaggerating." But that was a good one. Yeah.
Josh Hicks, we can know how Watson won. I just can't call him and ask him if it's public information
if
that's
it's
posted on the
public,
web. we can know that. All right, last question. I know it's time to go. Then we'll jump into our trivia giveaway. We've got a couple hundred viewers, so good turnout tonight. Appreciate everybody's support. Slee the Rookie, because I haven't seen a comment from him. He's possibly a new viewer, maybe not. Might be a regular listener, but Slee the Rookie, we're going to address your question since we've got a
holding
special
big
guest.
Old fish in his picture.
Huh?
He's holding a big old fish in his picture.
I
too.
like that, yeah. So Slee the Rookie wants to know if you guys had to choose only 5 lures to use for, I'm assuming this season, late fall, early winter, what would they be and why? So because we'll all have overlapping answers and Card's our special guest and we're out of time, I'm going to let Card answer this question solo and give you 5 lures of his choice.
Like, is
for
he
this time
meaning
of year.
season, like season of fall or a whole fishing season?
Fishing season.
I would assume he meant to use for this season. But
No, I'm going for the whole fishing
okay,
season. the
okay.
whole
So
year.
just
he's
5
meaning
lures,
like
5 lures
Yeah.
for the year. Is that
Yeah.
what y'all were
I think
saying?
he's meaning like your elite season.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, the elite
okay.
season.
All right.
Why don't we do this? Why don't I do 2, Thrift do 2, and you do 1?
Oh, I only get 1 now? Okay, I'll do 1. But I have to go last. Okay, I'll go last.
All right, so these are lures. Well, I would love for it to be this.
Would you like for me to go first?
I would love for it to be the 3DB pencil, but that only is usually about 2 tournaments a year. So I'm going to go with a 5-inch Yamamoto Cinco because I throw that all the time. I either throw it weightless, wacky. I throw it Nico. I put it on a shaky head. I flip it. So that's my first one. And then I would say my second one is going to be this bait right here. It's the 3DB Jerkbait 110. I used to not throw jerkbait, but for whatever reason, just the last, I would say 5 years, I catch them on that thing, man.
Well,
I just have
forward-facing sonar came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go figure.
but
5 years ago.
but I'm not.
About
Hey,
spot
I'm not. I'm not no forward-facing sonar
You're not
guru.
scoping them and catching them on that?
I mean, sometimes, but I mean, I guess this past year I did, but before that, it's like I just started throwing it and I just started catching them, and so now.
Is that your favorite color?
Whether it's pre-spawn or post-spawn, actually, this is my favorite color. It's a Ghost Sexy Shad.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
just works all
That's a
over.
good looking jerkbait.
Yeah, so that's my 2.
So jerkbait and a Cinco.
Cinco.
All right.
Yeah.
Roll on with it, Thrift.
I would say my 2 for fishing all season is a square bill, my BTC 60 Demiki square bill. This runs 2 to 5 feet deep, and you can always find fish shallow all times of the year. You can catch them on it in the wintertime, pre-spawn, post-spawn, summer, fall. So definitely that square bill. And my second one's just going to be a old shaky head. I mean, you got to have a shaky head of some sort.
Well, y'all took 4 of my 5, so, but I do have one more. I've got, I'm throwing, and actually, it's a new little swimbait head. A little Mad Arey signature pulse swimbait head with a little bitty swimbait on the back. Because, like Thrift said, that's a bait that you need on your deck all the time, all year.
Yep.
I might adjust the size of the swimbait, but anywhere from a 2.5 to a 3.5 inch swimbait, some kind of little paddle tail.
And that's versatile, too, because you can adjust the size of the head
Correct.
and fish different
Correct. As
depths,
long as
so-
I'm not stuck to one size, I'm going to go with
Right,
this.
yeah.
So it might be a quarter, it might be a 3/8, might be a 1/8, just depends. But yep, a little old single swim bait, and yeah, I'm gonna roll with that because you can catch them 12 months out of the year on that little dude too.
Yes.
All right, so that's 5.
That's 5.
That means it's trivia question
All right,
time.
Brandon, you need to find the answer.
Trivia.
Brandon,
so-
you find
All
the
right.
answer, and I'll start working up the question here.
All right, here we
So
go.
interesting.
Well, he's got to be watching the feed, too, so you're going to have to wait for him to get back on the feed.
So I need to tell y'all the answer so we can all look at the feed, right?
Yeah,
It's fixing to get way
you have,
confusing.
can you text it to us? Or no, Tyler's gonna go get. Tyler's gonna go get
He's going to get something to write it down on.
He's gonna get it write it down on. So Brandon's gonna write the answers down. In the meantime,
Zach,
we'll,
I agree. I can't survive without the stand.
we can go ahead and get it rolling though, right?
Yeah,
Because-
Just
because-
kind of set it up.
Go ahead and preface
All
what,
right. So
what we're doing.
interesting enough, Card and I were talking on the phone earlier today, and he said the very first Bassmaster Classic he ever attended as a fan, not as a competitor, was the 2004 Lake Wiley Bassmaster Classic, which was right here close to Thrift and
In
I's
Charlotte.
hometown.
In
It was
Charlotte.
hosted by the city of Charlotte. Well, that just so happens to be the exact same classic that was Brian's first
Very first one I ever went to.
and my first. So 04 was the very first classic that Thrift, Card, and myself attended We didn't know any.
I know the answer.
I mean, I knew Brian, but I didn't know he was there. I knew
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I knew you in 04.
No, probably not.
No,
probably
probably not in 04.
No, I was actually, I think I just graduated high school.
Okay. Wait, how old are you?
36.
36?
I had to think about it.
Okay. 36. God, he's young, man.
That was actually the first classic my wife went to, too. We were still dating at the time. We just
Oh,
started
nice.
dating.
Okay, perfect.
So I actually stood on the bridge. I don't know the name of that bridge, but I stood on that bridge and watched Aaron Martin's fish below me. The coolest thing in the world for a high
The
schooler.
Highway 49.
Yeah, that's pretty
bridge.
awesome.
Yeah.
Watch him absolutely wreck them on an
He
underspin.
did mash them.
That was too cool.
I was telling Card that classic would have had a totally different outcome. It had that. It would have either been Quinn or Aaron, obviously, but if it hadn't got all that rain and that high dirty water hadn't
No,
rolled in there.
Bumgardner would have blew it away.
You think so?
Yep.
Doing what?
I talked to him after practice.
Doing what?
Brim beds.
You think he would have beat? So why did his bike go away? Because he was
High dirty water.
the dirt, but the lower end didn't get like that, did it?
No, but the water came up and it moved the fish.
Oh,
They got
okay.
off of him.
Okay.
He said he thought he could catch 20 a day.
August, that's unreal.
Yeah.
All right, so
I felt so bad for him.
let's jump over to the question here. That was the first classic we all attended. Pretty cool, little interesting tidbit of information there.
Golly. Slee the rookie said that's a 9-pound spotted bass he's holding.
Holy camoly!
Congratulations.
That's
I
like
am
close to world
impressed.
record, isn't it?
He's got world record's like 11 pounds now.
Yeah.
Heck,
Well, that's close.
the world record.
That's only
That's
2
close.
pounds.
I
yeah,
agree.
but there's like,
I agree. That
there's
is
like,
close.
There's like 30 between 9 and 11 that have been caught. At that Bullets Bar and all that stuff.
I don't
over
care.
there.
It's still close.
I mean, 9-pound spotted bass is something that none of us will ever
if
see
I
unless we
catch,
go out there.
what's the world record bass? 22?
22 pounds.
Yeah, if I
Yeah,
catch
if you
a
catch a
20
20
pounder,
pounder,
that's close.
Are you
I'm
gonna,
counting
Are
it.
you gonna keep it and mount it? Are you gonna keep it and mount it?
Man, it'd be tempting. I probably wouldn't. I'd get a replica made.
Yeah, replica.
But-
yeah.
I'd ride it around for long. There'd a lot of people see it before I turn it loose. I know that.
Yeah, fat guy outdoors. We appreciate it, man. This is the first one he said he's caught live. All right, back to the question. So, Takahiro Amori won that Bassmaster Classic in 2004 with one of the most.
People think they've already won.
Yeah, he's wrong. With one of the most epic finishes that I ever remember in a Bassmaster Classic.
I knew it.
I knew it.
I knew it.
He literally caught 3 bass in like the last 5 casts and won the tournament. He only had 2 bass in live well, filled his limit. Yada yada yada. Y'all know the rest. But his total weight for 3 days was what, Brandon?
His total weight for 3 days was 39 pounds, 2 ounces.
39 pounds, 2 ounces was
That is not
Takahiro-
the answer.
That's not the answer. Was Takahiro's combined cumulative weight for 3
For 3
days.
days.
We need to know in pounds and ounces what his day 2 weight was.
Go.
Go. Brandon said go.
That's a terrible question.
Hey, here was the question I wanted to ask. Name the weights of all 3 days.
Yes.
That was what
This
I
is what
wanted.
Brandon wanted.
That would have been even terrible.
I'm like,
if that's
I'm
a
like
word.
we're going to be here till 9:45.
Yeah.
So the cool
Start
thing
guessing,
about this,
boys. Start guessing.
Now, why is that a terrible question?
it's not. Actually, that was my
No,
choice.
that's a wonderful
Brandon
question.
wanted all 3 days. I said, let's just make it one day.
Yeah.
And then we looked at the weights. And
Brandon,
I said,
you're
that's,
tough.
I said,
Hey, I
that's,
got a correct answer.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, that's not right.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
Why not?
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Is it though? I mean, how he typed it. It's
Yeah,
kinda,
that's right.
Okay.
That's right. Because
That's
in pounds
that's
and
what
ounces.
he means.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what he means.
I got
Who
it
do y'all
right.
have?
Starts with a R.
Well, say it.
Ran fish.
Ran the fish. Ran the fish.
That
I
was
don't
a that
think
was a lot
that's-
quicker than we
Yeah,
thought.
Yeah.
that was awesome.
It is. We were debating on your decimal because 9.08. we know-
Everybody knows that's ounces. Everybody.
not-
Especially how he worded the question. We
Not-
said
not
pounds and
8
ounces.
tenths of an
Everybody
ounce.
knows.
No, congratulations to Ran Fish.
Ran fish got it
The
quick.
answer is 9 pounds.
That
8
is quick.
ounces.
I'm impressed. That was very good.
Now, Ran Fish, send us a message. Listen closely because we haven't got a message from a winner several weeks back.
Yeah.
To our Facebook page, the Let's Talk Fish Facebook page. Send us a message with your shipping information, first and last name, and we'll get this Yozuri prize pack compliments of Brandon card out to you ASAP. It is 9 pounds 8 ounces. I can't believe somebody got it that quick.
I can't either. That's impressive.
We should have done what I said.
Well,
all 3 days.
Yeah, but then
It would have been. We'd have been there next Tuesday.
William Law said that question sucked. That's Brandon Card's question.
Come on. I'm never doing another trivia
No, I
question.
thought it was pretty good. So we had a good one for last week. Obviously, the
Hey,
show.
Rusty poses a good point. What if you don't have Facebook?
Does he Randfish? Do you have?
I don't know
Facebook?
if Rand's got it.
If you
I'm
don't
just
have
saying-
Facebook-
I'm just saying Rusty posed a good question.
No, Randfish said thanks. So I'm assuming he has Facebook.
Yeah, but
Yep.
I'm just saying, what if eventually
now
in-
that question
in the
happened-
future, the
Well,
winner
it
doesn't?
actually when Shane was here, Shane LaHue, that guy.
That's right. Yep. So
Didn't have Facebook.
that's right. So
Yeah.
I watched that show.
See?
Yeah.
to y'all's point, all right. Since we're on YouTube Live now, and somebody might not have Facebook that watches the show, comment. No, don't do that on the video because then it's public. How can we do this? You sit in Instagram. We'll worry about it when it happens.
They did it last time.
What?
Have them email me.
Oh, have them email Tyler. Okay.
There you go.
If you don't have, okay, Randfish, I just keep saying Randfish. Randfish.
That's his name,
He
as
does,
far as we know.
he does have Facebook. He just confirmed yes. So he will send us his information, and we'll get this Yozuri prize back out to you ASAP. Next show, we're going to have a cool giveaway. We're going to give away one of these awesome Angler's Choice custom weigh-in bags. So that'll be
Yes.
cool, along with a Angler's Choice hat and some other goodies. But yeah.
Yeah, we need to throw some goodies in that bag too.
Well, the bag, they're going to drop ship it from Angler's Choice.
Oh, okay.
So
Never
this
mind.
is
so
our-
it's not going to be this exact bag. It's
This
going to be
stays-
one just like it.
This stays on the show right here. This is our
Right.
display bag. But it has a nice, like, this is pretty cool. So
Yeah,
when you
it's
catch
got the
40,
handle.
you can just do this.
You can hang it from
You
a
can wear it like a purse.
Right.
Huh?
Or you
Man
can use it
purse.
as a Christmas stocking.
We need a nail.
It's a Christmas stocking.
Man, I need a stocking that big. Do you
I
ever have
do
a
too.
stocking that big?
Man, I'd like to. My boys would love that.
So 9-8, Randfish is a winner. Congrats to the winner, Randfish. I feel like he's got maybe his name's Randy or
That's a
Ronald
cool
or
name.
Randfish?
Yeah.
No, 100%. I wish my last name was Fish. Well, Chuck.
could
Look,
be.
there's a Chuck Fish on here too. They might be
You can
related.
change it.
Huh? I could
change it.
I could, I guess. Technically, I
Matt
could change
Fish.
it. Matt Fish. Matt Fish. It's a satchel. Keith Wood said that's a satchel. It's a
There
satchel.
was no, that seems transitioning angler purse.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, Ben.
Save that for next week.
Ben Ott, you've been a popular vote that said that Card needs to come back.
Okay,
yeah, we'll
thanks, man.
definitely have Brandon back
Yeah,
for sure.
appreciate you guys
1000%.
having me. I really do.
As soon as you catch a
now
20-pound
that-
bag on High Rock, you're coming back.
Now that he's closed,
Don't hold your breath.
Personal challenge.
now that Card's closed, we need to have us another Let's Talk Fish challenge again.
After deer season.
Oh my God.
Fish off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't have a boat.
just have
Can I get in yours,
Well, I,
Card?
I actually have two, so you can just borrow my other one.
See, perfect.
Even better.
we could just-
I will
is the
sell
other
you-
one a paddle
we
boat?
could go
I will
to
sell
High
you
Rock.
my other one right now.
What do you have?
It's for sale.
Well, tell everybody.
Yeah, so it's my 2021 Vexus VX21. It's for sale. So anybody wants it, actually it's a pretty good price. $71.9 for a Vexus.
Oh, wow. That is a good price.
Yeah.
That's not a bad price.
So, cause my Ranger was already sold, I allowed Card to do that.
Yep.
It's
Mine
yours.
is-
Yeah,
mine is
appreciate
sold as well.
All right, y'all. We do appreciate the support. Brandon, you don't know how we sign off on this show, do you?
Don't know.
Okay.
We'll
well,
make up something.
we
We're just
won't
going
make-
to throw it to you and see what it comes up
Okay, yeah,
with.
that sounds
That'll be good.
But
That'll
we
be
do
good.
appreciate y'all's support. Appreciate everybody watching. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Brandon Card to sign us off. So who knows what we're going to get.
Pound it. Noggin. See ya.
You're supposed to leave.